Good evening, friends. It's great to be back with you for this year's GEICO Champions Celebration. I'm Jim Handley, emceeing from a safe courtside distance here at the Junior Tennis Champions Center in College Park. You know, there is truly so much to celebrate this year because even though this year has been challenging to every member of the JTCC family, our CEO, Ray Benton, said today with a broad smile, we believed, we persevered, and we succeeded. Tonight, each of our three honorees, Bill Ackman, Robin Montgomery, and Frances Tiafoe, will share their stories of how they tackled their own challenges in 2020. They believed in themselves, they persevered, and they succeeded. I, for one, am going to be taking notes this evening. If you're watching us tonight, we know that you believe in JTCC, and we thank you for your tireless, incredible support this year. Let's get on with the show. Tonight, it is my pleasure to introduce this year's gala chair, Dr. Peter Ackerman.
Welcome to the 2020 GEICO Champions Celebration. I have chaired this event for a number of years, and I always look forward to our next gala because I know I will be energized and uplifted by our honorees, whose achievements on and off the court are truly outstanding. Congratulations to tonight's honorees, Bill Ackman, and the young prodigies he has sponsored from an early age. The rise of both Frances Tiafoe and Robin Montgomery to the pro circuit is a tribute to their hard work and drive to aim for the top of the game. In addition to being excellent tennis players, they are also special young people who genuinely care about giving back. They take very seriously their responsibilities to be role models for the younger generation at JTCC. I've been in the investment business for many years and have admired Bill Ackman as a man of considerable skill and integrity, who is well known for both his compassion and generosity to many causes. As I continue the struggle to improve my own tennis game, I am fascinated by the similarities between achieving success in tennis and on Wall Street. Both require enormous concentration and making timely decisions with a calm mind. Bill has mastered both attributes on and off the court, and I couldn't be more pleased that he is in the JTCC family. To all the viewers watching and to our presenting sponsors, Sandy Springbank, Cadwalder, and the Bisnow family, thank you for your support, and I hope you too are energized by this evening.
Now it's time to turn our attention to a man you could accurately call a missionary, because there is no one who believes more in the mission of transforming lives through tennis than our CEO, Ray Benton.
Good evening, and thank you for attending JTCC's annual gala. We hope that you will enjoy our virtual GEICO Champion Celebration, and that next year we'll all be together again in person. JTCC has adopted a tagline, "Tennis for Everybody," which is a straightforward statement of our basic identity. As a nonprofit, we serve our local communities with the one goal to transform lives through the sport of tennis. We remain committed to maximizing our impact with everyone who can pick up a racket, from beginner adults, from beginner children, to highly motivated young people who want to earn a college scholarship through hard work on and off the tennis court. And with special populations through our partnerships with Special Olympics and programs for wheelchair athletes and wounded warriors. At JTCC, we have a dual mission. First, to provide the training for youngsters to use tennis to gain entry and scholarships to college. And second, and equally important, to broaden the base of tennis participation. We've had great success in meeting our college objectives. We couldn't be prouder of our 280 graduates who have earned over $20 million in scholarships and financial aid. Their hard work on the tennis court has taught them life skills that have given them tremendous advantages in their careers off court after college. We also have a few outliers at JTCC. Those athletes who are fortunate enough to have an unusual combination of exceptional ability and exceptional drive. For these individuals, it has made sense for them to delay attending college and turn professional. We're extremely proud that 5 players who trained at JTCC competed in the men's and women's draws of the recent U.S. Open. As I mentioned earlier, growing the base of participation in our sport is critical if we want to regain its former level of prominence in the United States. The JTCC Game On program is an important program to identify new players in the District of Columbia, and it's working. We have a similar program in Maryland to grow the junior tennis space. It's called the Sandy Springbank Advantage Prince George's. On the adult side, it's a high priority. We have a program called Discover Tennis that we offer throughout the metropolitan area, and we're very pleased with the number of people who have continued to play the sport after being introduced. The giving back component is very important at JTCC. We create an inclusive environment that stresses integrity and academic success in our young student athletes. Current JTCC athletes have volunteered over 2,200 service hours to JTCC community programs in the past year. JTCC has always been committed to an inclusive culture of racial and social justice. In 2019, student athletes received close to $500,000 in financial aid, 70% of which was distributed to Black and Hispanic youth. And we're providing opportunities to these underrepresented populations, and it's never been more important than it is today. The COVID-19 pandemic has been a real challenge for us. The tennis center was closed in the spring for several months. Let's give a special shout out to JTCC's parents, volunteers, and supporters for providing funding during the peak of the pandemic. We were able to keep our hardworking staff intact, and our supporters, such as Bill Ackman, who will be honored tonight, are not only generous, but they're caring individuals who understand what a difference tennis can make in our community. Thank you to all of you for joining us tonight and for continuing to spread the word that tennis really is for everybody.
I think missionary describes Ray just perfectly. He personifies the qualities of believing, persevering, and achieving success here at JTCC. But as both Ray and Peter have emphasized, you can't achieve greatness alone. The JTCC family working together toward a common goal has been the secret of success for more than 20 years now. And for more than half of JTCC's lifetime, GEICO has been the major supporter of the center's GEICO Game On community outreach here in the District of Columbia. GEICO's Janice Hobart will update us on the good news of how GEICO and the center have adapted to provide continuity and connection for the kids here in the Game On program.
Good evening to all of our JTCC friends, and I sincerely mean good evening, because I'm happy to report that JTCC has successfully introduced virtual programming to keep our GEICO Game On kids engaged in their tennis programs at school and recreation centers throughout Washington, D.C. Since 2009, when JTCC launched the GEICO Game On program, more than 3,000 youth have been introduced to tennis in the DC metropolitan area at 30 locations that offer JTCC tennis and academic instruction at no cost to the children. The GEICO Game On program has 2 goals. Number 1 is to introduce a healthy, fun, and safe activity to local youth while growing an important base for the sport of tennis. Number 2 is to provide a pathway through the GEICO Game On program for motivated and talented youth to train at JTCC, putting them on track to earn college scholarships at the nation's top universities. GEICO has been a proud sponsor of the program since its inception. Game On is a unique concept because all of the tennis coaching is led by JTCC student athletes who volunteer their time as part of their promise to give back to others through community service each year. And it's the JTCC results that speak for themselves. Tonight, we will recognize Robin Montgomery, who first started playing tennis as a GEICO Game On participant, and who has also mentored other youth when volunteering at GEICO Game On sites. Let's take a minute to see Robin and the GEICO Game On program in action.
have to make sure you watch the ball.
You have to get out of the way of the ball.
Good.
Okay, watch it.
When you finish hitting the stroke, get back to ready position. Okay? Ready?
That's what anything else. Watch it.
So you focus on the ball.
GEICO has committed to continuing its partnership with JTCC through 2023, and we're looking forward to meeting the next Robin. Thank you to JTCC for your ongoing commitment to the next generation of talented tennis players who will be identified on the playgrounds and in the classrooms, and eventually will move into the boardrooms of Washington, D.C. and the nation.
Janice, GEICO certainly exemplifies believing, persevering, and succeeding here at JTCC. We thank GEICO, and we look forward to the day when we can all get back out here on the court with our Game On program throughout the district. As we just heard, JTCC student athletes become role models through their community service activities. And so it's only fitting that we partner with FILA annually, saluting an outstanding JTCC player who exemplifies the highest personal standards both on and off the courts.
We are very excited tonight to present the 7th annual FILA REACH Award. REACH is our acronym for Realizing Extraordinary Accomplishments with Courage and Humility. The REACH Award was created as an homage to the accomplishments of FILA-sponsored athletes. JTCC and FILA both emphasize the importance of giving back. Tonight, we are thrilled to recognize a 17-year-old rising senior who has demonstrated extraordinary courage and determination towards making positive change within her community. Noah Boyd has trained at JTCC since she was 7 years old.
Not many 7-year-olds can hit a tennis ball like Noah Boyd. Her incredible ground strokes and poise have landed her in a public service announcement for First Lady Michelle Obama's Let's Move campaign. Noah trains at the Tennis Center of College Park. This facility has one of the best youth programs in the country.
It doesn't feel quite like, they're doing exercise because they're having so much fun doing it.
As for Noah, she's not thinking of a career on camera.
I want to become pro when I'm older.
And today, as a result of her hard work on court, she is ranked #1 in the Mid-Atlantic section in girls 18s. In addition, Noah's energy has extended off the court, mentoring JTCC's GEICO Game On program. However, it's Noah's most recent efforts that have resonated throughout her community. In celebration of Juneteenth, Noah helped organize a social justice rally supporting Black Lives Matter that was attended by hundreds of supporters in Silver Spring. Let's roll the video so we can all be inspired.
My name is Noah. Thank you for coming. This has truly been an amazing experience, and I feel blessed to be a part of the change that is taking place. We cannot remain sad and silent any longer. We must appreciate the lives that these people live and try our best to cherish our own. We must use our voices to speak against injustice. We must use our right to go to the polls and vote. We have to fight to ensure that these names are the turning point so that these murders cannot continue any longer. I ask my generation and the ones younger than me to hold ourselves accountable and speak up so that we can do more than the previous generations did for us. I ask the older generations to have an open mind and feel free to challenge my perspective. Let's have a conversation. Don't be silent. The future is in our hands, so let's educate ourselves now so we can build a better future. And with that, I ask that during these moments of silence, as we appreciate the beautiful lives that these people live, you ask yourself, what can I do so that these injustices can never happen again?
I think we can see why everyone is so proud of this incredible young woman. Noah, please accept our 2020 REACH Award with our admiration and full support for your continued advocacy for positive change throughout our community. Young adults like you will make a difference in these challenging times and make our world a better place. You're a role model for your peers and also for adults. You're going to do great things, and I'll be able to say, I knew you way back when.
Thank you, Miss Mallon, for being on my team. I feel so blessed to be a part of the JTCC community, which has taught me so many things. The traveling I was able to do through this facility has been amazing and increased my desire to want to help others. Being an athlete as well as a student has allowed me to connect with others who share my desire to help. It really shows that nothing can be done on your own. I'm really thankful for tennis as a whole for teaching me discipline. It has shown me that my actions really can make a difference, that I am responsible for the decisions I make on court, and I am excited to apply those principles to my life.
Congrats, Noah. We will no doubt be hearing more from you in the years to come, both on and off the courts. As we say in our business, stay tuned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you're enjoying your cocktails. In a typical gala year, we'd be having a fine buffet of dinner and dessert too, getting ready to pay tribute to our honorees. Well, this year we're taking a more personal approach to pay tribute to our honorees with conversations we hope that you'll find both enlightening, entertaining, and also uplifting. You know, our chair, Peter Ackerman, has described Bill Ackman as a visionary and a believer. All right, now let's take a moment to hear from JTCC's very own Francis Tiafoe about a very special relationship he formed with one of his biggest fans. We caught up with Francis before he left for the U.S. Open and the French Open.
Bill Ackman is one hell of a guy. Without Bill, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Him helping me and really believing me, obviously you could see my story, and that's kind of how it went about. You know, we met. We still keep in great touch after matches, and I'm extremely thankful for that guy. I will never forget. He's when I'm playing Roger, I put my bag down and at the U.S. Open, he was like 2 rows back, and we're just like sitting there laughing at each other. And I just said thank you to him before the match started. So guys like that you remember forever, and you're always gonna have a relationship with them, regardless if I win 20 slams, regardless if I retire today. So good people out there.
I know Bill was certainly disappointed not to be able to sit courtside and cheer on his protege as he marched through the U.S. Open. All right, before we begin our conversation with Bill and Ray has a few insights he'd like to share.
It's my pleasure to introduce Bill Ackman, our honoree this evening. You all know Bill as an astute investor on Wall Street, where he's a fierce competitor, but also has an understanding of how Wall Street fits in our culture. But that's not why we're here this evening. We're here to recognize his passion for our favorite sport. Bill Ackman appreciates tennis from the top players at the U.S. Open to beginners on public courts. He's been an enormous contributor to the sport and to JTCC. You know, Bill is one of those rare individuals who actually has giving back in his DNA. To his very core, he feels the need to give back to people less fortunate than himself. He has participated in the Giving Pledge, which commits over half of his wealth to charity. And he also has founded the Pershing Square Foundation, which has given close to $500 million to causes around the country. From a JTC standpoint, Bill provided the funding way before Robin Montgomery and Francis Tiafoe made their mark in junior tennis. He believed in them and made it possible for them to go to the next step. He supported our U.S. Open ticket initiative. He has supported the expansion of our beginning adult program. And most recently, he gave a very generous contribution to our capital campaign. Because of this contribution, we will be launching the Pershing Square Center Court next spring, and it will host one of the top junior tournaments in the world next summer. A tournament that has featured not only Robin Montgomery and Francis Tiafoe, but names like Tsitsipas, Shapovalov, Anna Samova, and Goff. Bill Ackman is our real champion.
Thank you, Ray, for setting the stage for your conversation with Bill, which is sure to have our guests smiling and believing in JTCC even more fervently than before.
There you are.
Hey.
So aren't you glad we play a socially distanced sport? Are you playing matches?
I spent a lot of time on technical stuff, and then I played my first competitive doubles match, and I played great. And then I've been playing a lot of singles points. That's really what I've been working on.
Terrific. Any thoughts of playing singles competition?
I should do it.
So when you first started playing tennis, what was it that attracted you to it?
It may have been that my parents loved the game. I was 7 years old. I remember my mom taking us out, handing us a tennis racket, bouncing a ball on the racket. I actually remember it reasonably well. But it was probably my parents' interest in the sport and passion for the game.
So how has that evolved?
I played tennis, I would say scholastic, state-level tennis. Went to the quarterfinals twice of the state scholastic tennis. I was not, a top high school tennis player at all. And when I went to college, I went to Harvard College, and I thought about playing tennis and I thought I could possibly make the JV. At least that's what the coach said. And he told that to about 50 kids, and there were 2 spots left on the JV. And the rowing meeting was across the hall. I figured, Harvard rowing, that sounds better. I'm pretty tall. Let me try that. And I went to the rowing meeting and ended up rowing crew for 4 years on the varsity team, which was a life-changing experience. And then I didn't play tennis for more than a decade. And then I got a call from our mutual friend, Jeff Appel, who said, I hear you're a pretty good tennis player. So I played my first tennis quite horribly, probably 17 years ago. And then I got more and more passionate about the game. And now I'm way better than I was as a kid, which is fun. So, I've got a sport that I'm meaningfully better this year than I was last year and the year before, and hoping, to stay on that trajectory for as long as possible. So, and then of course I like the game as a spectator. I wanted good seats at the US Open because when I was there, I was always, row 300, whatever in the sky. And I thought, how cool, look at those people sitting down in the front there. And so I'm pleased to say that my career has enabled me to get better seats at the US Open.
So now you're quite knowledgeable about the sport. What do you wish you would have known when you were 10 years old about the sport that you now know?
I didn't understand how much this game is about torque and about, twisting the upper body and untwisting and a complete, a follow through. And that insight came very, very late to me. And I've been making up for lost time ever since. And so that was one, I would say, key insight, but just understanding the physics of the game. Trying to use the strength of your arm to hit the ball is a terrible mistake.
So that's on the court. So in terms of what you've learned between your ears from tennis, how has it helped you in your career?
So, I would say it more expansively, and tennis has been a big part of it. But actually, I used to, my graduation from college, when I look back, it was actually my rowing experience that I think played a very seminal role in my life, in my career. And rowing, like tennis, rewards the person who never gives up, right? You look at the US Open final this year, Dominic Thiem, could barely make it to his chair, and he couldn't sit down between points, but he sort of made it through. And, that notion of persistence, never giving up, walking away from the past, i.e. the horribly stupid error you just made, and then just moving forward, these are super powerful lessons for life. And if I look at my career trajectory, in my current business, I had 12 fairly, amazing years. And then I went through a very, very challenging period, about 3 years in business, lost a lot of money, challenging years personally. And now I've come out of the other side of that, and I'm in probably the best place in life I've ever been in terms of happiness and business success and my family and kids. And so it's just a reminder that the rewards go to the persistent people who never give up. And tennis is a big part of that. It's a remarkably psychological game.
I've known Francis and Robin, who were recognizing, and of course, your contribution to their success. Now, I played each one of them when they were 10 years old declared victory and haven't played with him since. Now, I think you've played with him, haven't you?
Yes, it's wonderful to see such talent at such a young age. I played most recently with Robin, and just the sheer power she's generated at age, beginning, let's say 13, maybe when I met her, is pretty remarkable, and just maturity, tremendous maturity, really for both of them at a pretty early age. I mean, I do think the game can cause you to mature at a more rapid rate.
Yeah, it's interesting at JTCC, our motto is really using tennis as a means to an end for kids to get, great educations. So what are your favorite tournaments?
I had also great seats at the French Open for a number of years. Wimbledon, I've only been up in the clouds there, haven't been close to the court, but that's just such an incredible environment. And the remarkable thing about Wimbledon is it's quieter in Wimbledon than it is in a closet at the US Open, which is kind of the character of tell a lot about the character of the people in the country based on how much noise they make during the tennis match. But the grass is just spectacular. I need to spend more time going to tournaments, and I look forward to going back to a world with, the US Open is just not the same on TV with no audience.
Oh, absolutely. Although I think it helped Francis.
There are great tennis players with great technique, really great at the game. And there are great athletes that play tennis, and there's some people who are both. And I think Francis is really a great athlete plus a great tennis player, and Robin is just the very, very early days. So,
yeah, she has unlimited potential.
I think you've built a great program. It's one of the greatest places in the world for someone to learn the game, and I love this, the model of a great return on investment. A kid learns an amazing sport. It enhances their opportunity for education, which sets them up for the rest of life. And then occasionally a couple of them make it to the pros.
We've been very fortunate, and we'll keep working hard, and we really appreciate what you do for us. It's very, very important.
Sure, I'm happy to help in a small way, and love to see the program continue to grow and grow, great kids.
We would look forward to COVID settling down and seeing you here for the opening of the Pershing Square Stadium court.
Yeah, I really would like that.
Thank you very much, Bill.
And thank you, Bill, from everyone here in the JTCC family. And thank you for inspiring me to keep working on my game, too. We're looking forward to seeing you courtside in Grand Slam matches in the future for Francis and Robin. And to provide us more background now about rising star Robin Montgomery is her coach, Coach Ali, who has been there from the very start.
Hello, everyone who is joining us tonight to celebrate 3 JTCC champions. I'm honored to introduce you a very special person who has been pursuing her dream to become a professional tennis player for a decade, even though now she's just 16 years old. She came to JTCC to participate in our normal 10 and under program. I could immediately tell that she stood out. So I went to the coach in the under 10 program to tell her that I want Robin to join the junior champs program, even though the youngest person we bring to that program will be at least 8 years old. I customer her schedule because I want to build her confidence. I don't want her to lose every time she plays someone 2 or 3 years older than her. What was significant was seeing how she enjoyed herself competing and playing. Her progression has been phenomenal. At 15, she won her first professional tournament in Las Vegas in March. Robin is a higher achiever on and off the court. The sky's the limit for Robin Montgomery. We at the JTCC, we are very proud to have her part of our family.
When Robin was awarded a coveted wild card into this year's U.S. Open, the JTCC arranged a Zoom interview with the New York Times' Ben Rothenberg and Robin and her mother, Gabby. Let's join that spirited conversation now.
When Robin started walking, talking, and had a lot of energy, I just put her in everything. And then the article in the Washington Post that ran sparked some interest with JTCC. And I think that was at the same time when the Game On program was kicking off. So Robin joined that program and then kind of just took off at JTCC.
I really liked tennis. I mean, I liked running a lot. I had lots of energy.
The summer before third grade, JTCC summer camps, she was like, no, I have to focus on tennis. I can't give up a day of tennis training to maybe play basketball with some friends at school. So we just stuck with tennis at that point, and it allowed Robin to be at JTCC full time.
I just love the competition. There's a mix of competition and drilling. And then I ended up building a really strong relationship with my coach.
Robin, when did you first realize that you were really good?
I still question that. A tournament that probably showed me that I could be a contender was probably when I won the 14s national hard courts at 12. I mean, it's a good result when you're 12, I guess. Yeah, I still question it. Some of those bad practice days, I'm just like, great.
No matter how difficult, whatever adversity she's come to, it's been like, I'm going to go back and keep training. I'm going to wake up and run at 5 a.m. I'm like, okay. You know, there's not too many 15-year-olds that are going to do that to pursue their dreams.
What's it been like? You won your first pro title. Congratulations on that, in Nevada. And then right after that, like, everything stopped.
Honestly, I think it helped me work on myself a lot more. Just changing minor things, because at the end of the day, it's the small details that are going to make you or break you, basically. After winning Nevada, I was kind of happy that I won that and things shut down.
Go out on top for a bit, I guess, yeah. What was your reaction when you found out you got a U.S. Open wild card?
I was actually in the fitness room at College Park with Francis and his brother and then some other guys that I train with. And it was crazy. I just saw the post on Instagram and, you know, we were all goofing around at first, and then I'm looking at my phone and I look at Francis and I was like, I'm going to see you at the Open. And then he's like, what? He's like, you can't come. Like, it's like a bubble since all the rules now. And then I show him the phone and he sprints out of the fitness room, like, kicks the door, and like is just screaming and everything. And like, we were all just really excited.
And I heard that recently you got to hit with Venus Williams.
Yeah, I was able to hit with her.
What was that like?
I mean, it was amazing. It was just amazing to share a court with a 7-time Grand Slam champion and just literally a legend overall. I hope I played well enough. I don't know what her thoughts were about me.
What do you think about JTCC?
It's home away from home, and the relationships I built there with everybody, it's like a second family. People mention like, oh, why don't you go down to Florida to train? And I'm like, no, I don't want to go to Florida. I'm like, no, it's just no. I love the place. They've always been supportive of me, of everything I've done. And the good thing I know is that they'll even support me even if I'm at a low point or a high point in my future career. So.
Well, we all know the results of this year's U.S. Open now, where Robin faced a seed in her very first outing. Although she lost that match, she gained invaluable experience, which picks up on our theme tonight. Speaking of believing, persevering, and succeeding, we close this evening recognizing Francis Tiafoe. Let's hear from the coaches who have worked with now 22-year-old Francis from the very beginning.
I have known Francis since he was a 5-year-old kid with the biggest smile in the world. Francis has been in love with tennis since his first hit against the wall at the tennis center. I have always felt that tennis was Francis's best friend right away. He spent all his time with his new friend and he took great care of his new best friend. Now that friendship has grown into something very special, Francis is not only one of the best tennis players in the world, but tennis has given him a really powerful forum to influence and change young people's lives through his position as a role model, mentor, and a social activist. It really has been my privilege to see him grow, mature, and develop into the caring, respectful, and thoughtful young man who still has the biggest smile in the world.
I'm so happy to be here today to talk about my friendship with Francis and our family at the JTCC. JTCC is where Francis has always found his strength before the big tournaments. I was fortunate to be able to travel with Francis to the Orange Bowl and then later on to the US Open, where I witnessed firsthand his inspirational performances. He inspires all the kids at the JTCC because every time he's here, he always smiles with everyone, no matter who it is. He makes everyone feel like they can play the game. I'm so proud to see him growing up now and become a man, and a huge inspiration to JTCC and to the world. I treat Francis like my own son. I wish I can travel with him now, but we still keep in touch every day while he's on the road.
With those words of wisdom, Francis Tiafoe needs no further introduction. Let's hear what he predicted for himself just before this year's U.S. Open.
I like to remember my dad bringing me every day after school and tapping the small rackets against the wall, and he would hold our hands. I was 3 probably when I walked through the doors for the first time, and about 5-6 years later, I played my first tournament actually here. I won it, so that was pretty cool. When I was in the juniors, I pretty much played nonstop. Till early morning to late nights. At a young age, you don't really get tired. I think you should maximize court time, and then that was definitely less. Maybe 2.5 hours a day tennis, hour gym. I think it's more detailed now. Got to take care of the body a little more. I'm not as young as I was.
So do you have any coaches who you would credit with helping to make you the player you are today?
I would have to, put Vesa in there and Ali. Those guys were really vital in my life. Gave me a ton of great advice, and they're still here today, so it's pretty funny seeing them now. And when I started traveling nationally, it was about 10, 11. Really thought I would be. I was so used to playing, farthest place I would go was like Baltimore, so it was pretty cool, and I was happy to be competing against guys not only locally but around the states. Yeah, I remember playing my first Grand Slam in the qualies when I was 14. Going to New York, first time ever in New York. The atmosphere was unbelievable. Took a picture in Ash, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be here one day. And then playing Wimbledon and all that, I was like, yeah, just want to play on center court. And I think that's all so inspiring. I think those are great vital steps to see. I think all the juniors need to go through that and just see that before they really get into the big time.
So what were your best results at the national and international level?
Yeah, I want to get them out in the nationals. 14s winning nationals. That was my first big breakout, which I was really happy about. And then shortly after that, I won the Le Petit As. So that was like my big, kind of global result. And then, the Orange Bowl at 15 was special. Easter Bowl at 16 was also a great follow-up. And then lastly, the Kalamazoo 5-set final was something crazy, especially with Vesa there. Vesa had a lot of heartbreaks with guys losing in like the semis and finals. So I was happy to get that done, and seeing him emotional. He couldn't crack that guy when he was younger. So seeing him cry and stuff, I definitely knew I did something great.
It's too bad you had such an unheralded career as a junior.
Rookie year on tour was a big outbreak. We went from like no ranking to like 250. I was playing the French Open at 17. I wasn't expecting any of this. Things were just moving way too fast. So I was truly blessed and thankful for all those experiences. I think that helps me now and helps me give back to young guys coming up. Yeah, winning the Delray Open was something I still can't even believe. Zach Evenden, who I haven't even been working with for that long, and we're super great friends. To share that moment with him, to have that in his in his resume too, I think was pretty special. And yeah, my dad was there. Obviously, everything he's done for me, so it was extremely emotional. And to do that at 20 years old, be one of the youngest guys to win the American title since A-Rod was pretty special. And hopefully, I can win some more.
Talk about the Game On program where you mentored kids.
Giving back is so much bigger than just giving back to kids. It helps maturity level. Obviously, because I just remember being that kid. It's pretty easy to know where you're going when you know where you came from. Can't forget to stay humble.
Nobody's on a roll right now. This is the only time in the history of tennis that everybody is actually on 100% equal footing.
We're all going to U.S. Open right now, and I think it's a great opportunity. No Roger, no Rafa. You got to take that chance. Everyone's rusty. Nobody really has match advantages. No one's used to playing in empty stadiums in the highest level, so trying to be ready for it. Trying to do my best.
For Francis, he believed, he persevered, and he succeeded. becoming the last American male still standing in the round of 16. And as Bill Ackman has predicted for Francis, this is one of the early chapters in the book to be written about the kid from JTCC, who won the hearts of fans all over the world with that huge forehand, his serve, and that big smile. On behalf of everyone here at JTCC, we want to thank you for tonight and your support over the years of Team JTCC. Now, in the last 30 seconds, let's listen to a youngster from the next generation who believes in JTCC.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Now, if you really want to be a professional tennis player, this is step 1. Fitness. Our last exercise. It is probably the most critical exercise I ever know.